guys, welcome back to the channel. This is HowFast. Happy Saturday morning. It's a beautiful Saturday out. And today we're going to start working on our new Dodge Magnum. Now, I've yet to pick the name out of all the fantastic options that you guys gave us. But there is something that needs to be done first. First and foremost, as you guys know, as soon as we have a new member of the family, they got to get branded. So let's set up the camera real quick and put on those HowFast logos. One of us. Okay, now that the Magnum has its tags, let's talk about a couple of the things that need to get done to this car in order for it to pass a safety. Now, our 2005 Dodge Magnum has an ABS light on. So we got to figure out what that is. Also, the cruise control doesn't work. This light turns on, looks like it's working now, but once you start driving, it turns off and it doesn't work. The turn signal works, but when you turn the wheel over, full walk either direction, it doesn't snap back. So it's obviously, you know, that plastic C inside has been broken off or something. I'm not sure. We're probably going to have to get into the steering column to fix that. Now, is this required for a safety? I think that question is really relative to where you take it to get it safetied, because some places are really picky and other places aren't. So does the turn signal work? Yes. Does it work as it's intended? No. Does it work? Yes, it works. Okay, so the ABS light, I know we have to fix. There's a couple things that can be, I'd mentioned in the last episode. And those being possibly a wheel speed sensor. It could be a ABS pump, an ABS module, or even a brake booster. So we'll have to start diagnosing through that. I could probably take it to a shop and have them maybe tell me what it is, and then I could replace it myself. That might be the route we go, but I'm not quite sure right now. Right now, my thought is what's the shop going to charge me to plug it in? Is it a couple $100, $150 to check it? Because if it is, I don't know what a wheel speed sensor costs, but I would just as soon go and buy a wheel speed sensor and then and just try it in each of the wheels to see if it fixes the light. You know what I mean? That's one way of trying to diagnose a problem. Obviously we'll look at the ABS module and the brake booster and see if there's any signs of wear or anything like that. But outside of that, we can consider trying to replace the cheapest stuff first. So on top of that, the last thing that I noticed about the car, like I said, I feel like the car's pulling to the right a little bit, just a little bit on the highway. So that could be, I think it's a right front brake. So we'll go take a look at the right front brakes. And there seems to be like a rattle or something under the car. I think it might be a heat shield or something like that, or an exhaust rattle. So we'll get under the car, we'll take a look at the shields, we'll take a look at the exhaust, we'll take a look at the brakes, and just see what we can come up with just as a diagnosis for what this car is going to need in order to pass the safety. So let's get started. Got the wheel off, taking a look around at it, and all the brake rotor doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape. A couple spots on it though that are a little sus, It's a little bit of a lip, but the shape on the rotors aren't terrible. You look down here though. That was the noise I heard. I said I heard You can see here, this dust shield has been rubbing on the rotor. Why is that? Look at it. It is absolutely worn through. Look at where the bolts are that hold this thing on. Can you guys see that? The bolts right here. And the hole, it's worn itself right off. It's literally just floating in here, rubbing against the rotor as we drive. So that's where that noise is coming from. So I think there's a couple ways we can fix this, but the best way to do this would be to take the caliper and carrier off, pull the rotor off, remove the bolts, and then maybe put some washer. Well, the right thing to do would be to put a new dust shield on it, but we are on a budget here, so what we're gonna do is probably just put some washers behind that to hold that dust shield back and in place, and that should alleviate that rattle. And then we can take a look further when we take those brakes apart to see if there's something pulling or rubbing, or maybe that caliper is seizing up. I'm not quite sure, so we'll dive into that a little bit deeper. Okay, so the second thing I noticed in here, I said we have to look at the speed sensor, because that could have something to do with that ABS light. And I look at the ABS line here, or the speed sensor line. And here it is that runs down here into the back of the hub. And you can see someone here has already put a zip tie here. And when we follow it up here, this looks like it's been touched recently. Very clean compared to the rest of everything in here. That tells me that someone has probably tried to check the speed sensor on this thing already. So that makes me think that we might be already ruling that out. Now I don't want to do that, but maybe that might be an indication of something that's already been reviewed by somebody else. What I was talking about before. You guys can see here's where the nuts were and where there was some metal at some point, and they have completely just wallowed themselves out. So easy enough, we'll just take those out, put a big washer on them there to hold them back in place, and that should fix our problem with that noise. Okay, got the top one done. This bottom one, you can see there's really nothing. Like, I could put a washer on it, but it's just not going to do anything unless I put some sort of a backing. So I got this other old washer. I put that as our backing, and then we'll use our new washer on the front. Let's see how that goes. That is on tight. Okay, so that probably got rid of that rattle, and you can see where it was sitting grinding here on the hub as the hub spun. So that probably was a good grinding noise that I was hearing. But it doesn't explain why the car would be pulling to the right. So we're gonna have to dive into it a little bit deeper. Okay, so I think the next thing we're gonna check that ABS sensor. We're gonna check it on this front passenger side, and we're also going to check the front driver's side and the rear driver's side, because every time I seem to look this up online, every person seems to mention the rear left. So for some reason, those seem to be suspect. So I'm going to check that one just in case. But this one we're going to start with right now. Okay, guys, like we were talking about before, there's the wheel speed sensor plugged into the back here with this little zip tie. So I'm going to cut this off, take this out, and then we're going to clean the sensor and clean the hole and see if that makes a difference, because there was an awful lot of grease on this piston for this caliper. I don't know if someone was greasing it or what, but I'm thinking that this thing's gotten dirty, because I mean, you guys saw my hands. Let's clean this out and see if that makes a difference. I don't know if this is considered clean or dirty. I mean, it's definitely got some stuff on it, so I'm gonna spray this down with some brake clean. We're gonna spray in the hole with some brake clean. We're gonna try and clean it out the best we can, and then we'll put it all back together, see if the ABS light turns off. That sensor didn't really help. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back. I'm going to do all of the rest of the sensors, starting with the rear left. Like I said, that one seems to be suspect. And if after testing all of them like that, I don't get any positive results, I'm going to have to take it to Stories and have them take a look at it and tell me what it is. Right now, the ABS is not working with the light on. It's not functioning. So I'm going to, like I said, take it back to HQ. If we can't figure it out from there, I have to go to Stories. Get the computer read. Well, unfortunately, no luck with that brake light. The ABS just probably might be a module, might be a pump, might just be a sensor still. I would go get a code reader, but I just don't have the time right now. I need this car on the road, and you'll find out why in the next episode. So last week there was a couple questions I had asked you guys for answers to, and you guys didn't disappoint. The first question was, what should we name our new 2005 Dodge Magnum? And there were a couple options that I had thrown out. A being Edith, B being Louise, C being Mildred, or D leaving it open for you guys to give me some ideas. There were a couple of great suggestions, but I did notice coming out on top, option B, Louise. So I would like to officially welcome to the family Louise, our new 2005 Dodge Magnum. So as far as How Fast trivia goes last week, you guys had a tough question, and I urged you to look it up, and I can see none of you did. You all got it wrong. But this was a tough one, and I told you. So last week's question was, how fast can the 2014 Stingray travel in reverse gear? Your options were A, 33 miles per hour, B, 43 miles per hour, C, 53 miles per hour, or D, 23 miles per hour. The correct answer was C, 53 miles per hour. This is a fast car in reverse, but you guys all guessed wrong. So I'm hoping you guys do better this week. This week's question is based out of the States, and the question is, in which U.S. state are female drivers prohibited from driving whilst wearing a wardrobe? Your options are A, Montana, B, Idaho, C, Texas, or D, California. I look forward to hearing you guys' comments and questions. If you're looking to get in touch with me, you can get me at howfast10@gmail.com, or you can stop by howfast.ca. You can pick up a shirt or some vinyls or a couple magnets, help support the build, help support the channel. I'll catch up with you guys next time. Find out how fast we can make this car go.